language. So you can type in your question in the chat in your own language, and then I will attempt to translate it. And then I will answer in English, of course. But please, if it's really helpful for me, if you turn on your cameras, it's really wonderful to be able to see your faces, to see seeing your smiles, whether you like the class or you hate the class, all of those things. So let's see here. We'll start with this first question. Oh, this is a good question. So it's actually, are you in the translation? Yeah, okay. So the question here is everything comes from seeds, including all of our ideas and thoughts, and that those things all come from the past. Okay. Then the question is, then my decision at the moment should also come from seeds of the past. So how can I pinpoint whether what's happening in my life is changing something, or it's absolute, it's already destined, it's already predetermined? Right? I think this is a good question. This is a really, really fascinating question. So let's see here. We got 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25, 50 of 266 people have their cameras on. Come on. That's depressing. I know you all have faces. Okay. Anyhow. So the question is, if everything is coming from seeds, even my thoughts, then how is it possible that any thought that I have is something that's going to change anything if it's all coming from seeds anyway? Like, the basic question is there free will? That's what I would say. Like, is there free will? Right? How could I ever do anything to change anything if it's already coming from seeds in that moment? Does that make sense? Like, if everything's arising from a seed, then my answer to the question or any thought or anything that would be happening, could I even change anything if it's all coming from seeds? Then what's the point? That's the question. What's the point? So the answer to this is actually pretty straightforward, and then you have to think about it. If you have seeds to perceive yourself as having free will to make a decision, that's still coming from a seed too. If you perceive yourself as someone who can make a choice, like I'm making a choice to raise my left hand versus my right hand, right? I made that choice. I thought about it. I'm going to raise my left hand. Or did it just arise that way that all of a sudden those seeds thought, open, thought, left hand is now up in the air, right? But I would say that the perception, if you see yourself as someone, is it okay that I'm in here? If you see yourself as someone who can make a choice, whether you choose between a good seed or a bad seed, whether you choose to say something nice, whether you choose not to yell at the person in the kitchen who's yelling at you, the fact that you're able to make that choice and have a perception that you're doing it is coming from a seed, but the seed for free will is also a seed. So Tim, you just told me that I don't have a choice. No, I didn't say that. Okay. And you have to think about it. Right? You have to meditate on it. You really have to think about it. Because if you can crack that code, maybe you could see emptiness directly. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to move on before I dig myself into a hole. Let's see here. I was hoping someone wasn't going to ask this, but the Vietnamese asked, oh, thanks for the heart, asked, how do you this is from words class. And the question is, how do you transform negative consciousness into equal consciousness? Meaning this sort of idea of those in the direct perception of emptiness, arhats of the lower way and bodhisattvas of the higher way of the 8th level and above, they no longer have negative consciousness. And the suggestion in the book was, something happens where you get kind of a different kind of consciousness, maybe, like equal wisdom is what we called it. I don't know. The whole thing was suspect. It didn't really get explained. Okay. And then Jesukapa moved on. He was like, all right, I'm done. I have a problem with this too. And then he moved on to the next thing, right? But I think what you're asking, I'm going to transform the question. Get it? I'm going to transform the question into something else. Because what you're asking is, how do you see emptiness directly? That's what you're asking. Who cares? Who cares how negative consciousness becomes this and all these things, how an arhat has this or doesn't have this, or whether they don't have negative consciousness or they don't have nunyi, or they, whatever. Who cares? Don't tell Word I said that. Who cares when negative consciousness transforms into equal wisdom, whether you're an arhat or you're a 8th level bodhisattva? Who cares? Why? It don't matter, because what matters is whether you see emptiness directly or not. Because if you see emptiness directly, then you're on the path of habituation. Then it doesn't matter. You are already on the stream out. You were on the train. You were on the bullet train out of here. Okay? And wherever negative consciousness goes, who cares? Because you already saw emptiness directly. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean, it's fun to argue. It's fun to debate. Mind-only school is not the actual thing anyway. Okay? Mind-only school is the lowest school of the middle way. It's helpful. Thank you for turning on your cameras. I love seeing your faces. Thank you. But the main question here really is, how do you see emptiness directly? That's what you're actually asking. Okay. So how do you see emptiness directly? Well, there's several seeds that you can plant. First of all, coming to the mixed nuts class is one of the seeds. Luca, it's good to see you. Right? One of the seeds is study, 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 study. We could sing a song about it. You need to study, and you need to study a lot. Right? Including asking yourself questions that don't matter, like when does negative consciousness become equal wisdom consciousness, right? Because it forces your mind to think a little bit harder. Okay. So first of all, study is the first thing. The second thing that we would say is you need a teacher. Okay. You need someone to serve. You need that. Like you need a teacher. Okay. You need to serve people. You need to serve. I'm going to say it again. You need to serve the needy, not your teacher. Serve people that need help. Okay. Go find someone who needs help. People ask me, Tim, how do I serve you? I say, go help someone. Anna is walking through the streets of New York. Go find someone to serve. Right? Give your leftover meal to a homeless person. Give some money to a homeless person. Sit next to someone on the subway and make them smile or make them relaxed. Just your presence can help people. Right? Serve other people. Another way the third seed really is meditation. You have to meditate. You have to meditate. You can't do this without having a clear, focused mind and shamatha, because you need to have that mind to be able to focus on the lack of something coming from your seeds. All right. And then the fourth one is, you need to have some kind of physical practice to help you move the winds properly. Usually we don't say it that way, but you need to have some kind of practice to move the winds, like yoga, like Lady Niguma. This morning I got up and I was grumpy about something. Been grumpy about it for a while, and then I was just like, maybe you should do some yoga, dummy. So I did a half hour of Lady Niguma, and literally I was like, that's all that it took to not be grumpy about this anymore. My body's not even in shape. Like I can't even touch my toes anymore. Like I'm out of shape. Just do the movements. Okay. Do the movements, focus your winds on the chakras, and then just relax. Okay. But seed for yoga to work is serving people in need. The seed to make your meditation work is serving others. The seed to make any of it work is study. Those are the four main seeds. Okay. The four primary seeds that you can plant that will help you get to that. And the next question is not even important. Okay. It won't be important because you'll be an Arya. Who cares at that point? Because all you're going to be focused on is serving others and, habituating yourself to that which you already saw, which was the lack of things coming from seeds. So, good question, different answer. Let's see here. Let's go back here. So in the middle of all of this, I want to do a little pitch because I am doing a pitch. So I'm wearing this shirt I got from Romania last year, 2 years ago. Okay. And this summer, I'm going to be going to Taiwan, Barcelona, and Romania. We have a little tour planned. So if you're in Europe at all, so I'm wearing my Romanian shirt in solidarity. Anna, thank you. She was there. So all right. Thank you. I'm glad the answer helped you. Da, 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 The lack of things not coming from seeds. Thank you, Anna, for correcting my double negative. There's too many Brentford. No, it's fine. It's okay. I like listening. I'm reading this question. Okay, this is a good question. So the question is, what seeds can I plant to actually protect me? Okay. And it says, there's so many bad seeds. We're doing the 6 times book. We have created trillions, gazillions, innumerable seeds from the past. And then how do we clean it up with the 4 powers? Like, there seems like there's too many bad seeds. I think that's a really good question. There seems like there are too many bad seeds to possibly ever clean up to then be able to reach like these higher states, these higher goals. And the answer is yes, that's true. Sorry. There's so many seeds that we have that the sutric path can take eons. It can take lifetimes. It can take innumerable lifetimes to be able to clean up all those seeds. And then you just have to hope that in those innumerable other lifetimes, you don't keep collecting bad seeds. Because as you're cleaning up the good seeds, you're planting the bad seeds. And then if you happen to be born in a hell realm in between, then you're just kind of screwed because all you're doing is killing other beings all the time. So what's the answer here? I just told you it was impossible. Then why are you even here? Well, Irivor, God, that's a good answer, Irivor. Is, seeds do grow exponentially. So if you had the hope of planting some really good, powerful seeds that they might grow into something like enlightenment, that's a pretty good answer. I'm going to say something else, though. There was no Buddha who became enlightened who didn't do the Diamond Way path. I'll let that sink in. There was no Buddha. There was never a Buddha who didn't become enlightened, who didn't follow the Diamond Way path. Okay. So just let that sink in. And that's the answer to your question. Once you get a solid understanding in mixed nuts of all of what's going on and all the elements of karma and emptiness, karma, seeds, basically everything in the kitchen, everything that happens, when someone's yelling at you and you don't yell back, once your understanding becomes strong enough in that, then other seeds might start ripening for you. And then that's why you need a teacher, and you need a close relationship with a teacher, and you need to study, and you have to really have a solid foundation, because then you can catapult it off very fast. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's see here. Huh. Okay, this is an interesting question. Okay. That's it. Okay. The question is, when we say that being a living example will help us to help other people believe in practicing the wisdom, are we saying that the root cause of getting people to practice wisdom is your own success? Very good logic. Whomever this was, excellent logic. Is the root cause to getting someone, to get people practicing wisdom, is your own success in wisdom? Okay. It doesn't matter what you say to people. There's nothing you can actually do for them. So if you're a teacher, and you have a bunch of students sitting around, it doesn't really matter what you say, because whether they listen to you or not, well, there's a couple things going on. You can't change someone else's seeds, right? You can't, like, if a Buddha could change the seeds of a student, they would have already. You know, what's the proof of that? My back still hurts, right? What's the proof of that? I get headaches. Because if a Buddha could take away those things, they would have already. So, first of all, you can't make people plant good seeds. So, the only thing you can do is teach, right? That's all Buddha could do and could ever do. They can't do anything else for you. So, how do you get others to practice the wisdom too? I guess that's the question. And part of it is being a living example. But is the living example the root cause to get other people to have more wisdom in them? What school are we talking about? I guess that's the question. Let's use our mixed nuts brains here. Right, Tin? Tin's like, how is this going to work? Because the lack of wisdom you see in others is coming from you. And it wasn't any other way. But you can't change the lack in wisdom in others by force, right? Can't force anyone to do anything because they are separate beings and they're outside of you, and they're separate beings that are being forced upon you to be separate beings who have a lack of wisdom because of your karma to put them together that way. So where's the lack of wisdom coming from? That's right, Luca, you. Right? They're coming from you. So the way to really help others is to build the wisdom in yourself and understanding that if you see someone out there who's not practicing or can't see things coming from themselves and are planting bad seeds and living in ignorance, that means you have to double down on your practice and do more. That means you're the idiot, not them. Get it? It's coming from you. So, but in that process, because, you know, you and me, like we have to see things a certain way. You know, we have to see things, we're forced to see things a certain way, and we're forced to see things as self-existent. No matter how much wisdom we have, even an Arya still sees things as self-existent, even though they don't believe it anymore. Right? But they're still forced to see things as self-existent. So we have to operate in a self-existent world and use self-existence against itself. I like to think of it as like, use the matrix against itself. Like, use the laws of ignorance to produce wisdom. Because ignorance is a lie and a truth is greater than a lie. So eventually you can turn it on its head. Eventually. So with that said, we're operating in that world. We can't deny the world that's arising to us, even if it is self-existent. It's still there. It's still doing things, right? The person's still yelling at you, right? Ignorantly, and you're taking it that way ignorantly, right? Sorry. But the way to attract people to the teachings, there's 4 ways to attract people to the teaching, right? And the first way is to be generous. Okay. The first way is to be generous, right? Give them things. Why do some teachers give $100? Right? Because they're being generous towards their students. Okay. Secondly, is then you encourage them lavishly. That's a good word for translators. Excessively. Keep giving them encouragement to go forward, keep going, just keep going. My favorite kind of encouragement is from Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, 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 right? Little Dory talking to Nemo. Just keep swimming, right? And you just keep encouraging them to swim, right? Even when things suck. 8. Like this. Here we go. We're going to be, anyway, you're just going to like this. Share sound. Here you go. Just in case. Okay.
Mr. Grump.
Oops.
Girls. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Dory. I love to swim in.
Dory.
When you want to.
All right, fair enough. Get it? Teachers will just grab you by the fin and be like, just keep swimming. Are you having a sad day? Oh, you little grumpy today? Oh, it's okay. Geshe Michael does this to me all the time. Oh, Tim's grumpy today? Right? Just keep swimming, right? So practice generosity towards your students. Encourage them, right? Thirdly, you have to encourage them to practice what they learned, which is the hardest one because it's coming from your seeds. If they don't practice, it's your fault. Old seeds, but encourage them to keep practicing. Please just keep practicing. Just get on your mat, Tim. It's okay. Get on your mat. Do some yoga today. It's okay, right? Sit down and do your meditation. Shut up. No, just do it. It's okay, right? So that's the kind of like, let's see here. Someone asked for this. Here it is. And then the fourth thing is be a living example. You be an example of the teachings. If you're teaching meditation and you're not meditating, you are the ultimate hypocrite. Yep, honestly, And the best thing about being a teacher is that you are the ultimate hypocrite because you're teaching the things that you don't do to others to get them to do it so you can do it yourself. Okay, so that was a long answer to a simple question. Is the cause for others to have wisdom being a living example? The answer is it's one of the four main causes to attract students to your teachings. Okay, but it's not the cause. It's a cause. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I don't understand that question. I don't understand. There's a question in Chinese I don't understand. Maybe you can rephrase it. It says, on the way to perceiving emptiness directly, will earlier abstinence help us to see emptiness quicker? I don't know what abstinence means in this case. Venus, you translated it, but I don't know what that means. So if you could put it in the chat to explain. Because abstinence means not doing something. Oh, is that what you want to go for? Okay. Oh, I was just making sure that's what you meant. Not by itself. Okay, so the question is, if I give up sexual activity, will it help me see emptiness quicker? That's what the question's asking. Not necessarily. Anything could be help, but I don't want to talk about that right now. It's too complicated. Ask me again when you finish your 15 courses, your 18 courses. We'll talk about it later. But for now, having a healthy sexual life is a good thing. Okay. As long as you're not hurting other people. Okay. It should be fun. You should enjoy yourself. Have fun, but don't hurt other people. Yeah, right. No, you don't have to give up the things that are fun. You have to make sure you're not doing it in an attached way. Okay. Right. How about this? I'll give you this. Think about, does the pleasure of sex come from the sex itself? If you understand where the bliss comes from, then it doesn't matter. Now let's leave it. We'll just leave it at that for now. Understanding where the good seeds come from in the first place will help transform any activity into something with which you can see emptiness directly. How about that? Translators. No, okay. This is a good question because I think it's important for us to understand. The question is, before seeing emptiness directly, do we need to become living examples of the 5 main goals of DCI? Finances, health, relationships, inner peace, and serving others. Like, do we need to have those things in place to be able to see emptiness directly? And to be able to meditate well, and this comes from Pabonga Rinpoche, is that you need to actually understand where all of those things come from. Like having your wants few, like if you really understood where things came from, you wouldn't want anything because you would understand how to get the things you need. And we have to take care of this body. This body is kind of a rental car, right? Just looking down, I'm like, oh, you got a little belly there. Got to do something about that, Tim. Eat less carbs, right? You know, my skin is like getting it like drier, and my back hurts sometimes, and my eyes don't work all the time. You know, all of these things, the mind's not always as clear sometimes. All of these things come with age, right? So basically, you have to take care of your rental car. You got to take care of your body. And what does that look like? Will look like different things to different people. Like anyone can see emptiness directly. You don't have to be, you know, like super spiritual and go live in a cave. You can live a lay person's life. You can live the life of a normal person. You can have a boyfriend. You can have a girlfriend. You can be married. You can have children. Have a job and all those things. But the thing that propels you into seeing emptiness directly has nothing to do with any of those things. If you understood how to get all of those things and to be happy in all of those things, then you're probably pretty close to seeing emptiness directly already. You see, so they do go together. So if you have those 5 goals in mind and you're able to understand how to get them and truly understand how to get them, not in this like, oh, I'm just doing the 4 steps, but really understand them, then you would be close to seeing emptiness directly. But then how you understand what those goals are changes. And I think this is the important part. What does it mean to be healthy? What does it mean to be in a good relationship? What does it mean to be in a, financially free? Like to have that. What does that mean? Like your wants and needs change as your evolution changes. So your understanding of what those 5 goals mean changes as you get closer to seeing emptiness directly. So that's why we focus on it, like work on it. Like, okay, yeah, you should have a good life. You should have a nice car. You should have a happy relationship. But if you understand where all those things come from, then that's how you create them. Don't worry about it, just create it. And then try to understand all the obstacles in the way for those things not to appear in your life. And I'm going to write a course about that at some point. Oh, Tim, I'm doing the 4 steps, but I can't find a partner. Okay, well, there's probably some other thing going. There's probably something else in your way, some other obstacle, some other misunderstanding. Okay. Tracy's asking, Tim, do you have a secret message for me? That's great. I got a secret message for you, Tracy. Here you go. We're going to spotlight Tracy. Tracy looks like Princess Leia today. Princess Leia was revealed in the later movies to be a Jedi Knight as well. The sister of Luke actually became the general of the army and was a secret Jedi Knight as well. So, Tracy McKenzie, you too. Got to become Jedi Knight. How about that?
I love it. I really swear that the billboard is around the corner. I'm taking a picture and sending it to you tomorrow. And I
Great.
just found out that we have lightsaber classes in my town. So
Well, there you go.
Princess Leia's going.
All right, I won pictures. Thank you. Yay. Okay. This is a good question, and I think a lot of people go here. The question is, I really want to work in a career where I can be successful in my normal life and get on the fast path to the diamond way, to get to the ultimate goal. And this person wants a job recommendation. Okay. I'm not going to give you a job recommendation. That's not how it works. People ask me, should I do this or should I do that? People ask me, should I move here or should I move there? Should I take this job? Not important. Um, because you can work any job, you can be anywhere, you can do anything and achieve the highest goals. Where can the question should be more of where are you going to be of service? How can you serve others? I learned this in a book. It was called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And the author had a deep awakening, had their moment of renunciation. They were a gymnast. They were very talented, and then had a motorcycle accident, and then couldn't do anything anymore. Like had lost their entire life. Everything they identify with gone. And one of my good friends had an accident out here behind one of these rocks back there. It's kind of hard to see, but back that way, and broke her leg. Life completely changed. So in the book, and he meets his teacher. Where did he meet his teacher? At a gas station. Like the teacher was filling up, was like the gas station attendant. Some countries still require you to have someone who puts the gas in the car. You can't do it yourself. There's still 2 states in the United States that require that. So he's at a gas station. He meets this guy, normal dude, normal old guy, and then he starts showing him some of his attainments, some of his secret powers, and then the story goes from there, right? And they kind of ask the question, you're just a gas station attendant. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're obviously a highly realized warrior being. Like, why are you working in a gas station? And his answer was, to help you. See, that's my answer to the question of where you should work. More questions. We need more questions. You don't have any more questions? There are 250 people on this call. Come on, Maria. I know you have a question. You always have questions. What the hell's wrong? You bug me all the time, and now you have an opportunity to ask questions, and now you don't have any.
金蒙老师好，我问一个问题，就是我们身体 的每一个细胞，或者是牛羊内部身体的每一个细胞，他们通过这个投胎转世学习佛法之后，最终每一个细胞都会成佛吗？谢谢你。有翻译能帮我翻译一下吗？我的问题是，就是我们身体内部的这些细胞也是有意识的，那牛羊它们身体的内部的每一个细胞也是有意识的，这些细胞经过投胎学习佛法之后，最终也会成佛吗？谢谢你。
I see the question. Okay, so I think the question one of the things that's most precious about being a human is that we have a unique capacity to be able to study these kinds of questions. We have a unique ability to understand these ideas. We have a perfect amount of suffering so that we're just a little uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable enough. But we're not so uncomfortable that it makes it impossible to study. And I think a lot of the time, just think about if you've gotten very sick or you start getting really worried about your finances or you're having a big problem with your partner and the emotions are really strong. It becomes very, very challenging to study and practice because you're overwhelmed with afflictions. And on the other side of it is if things are too good, then you have no motivation to study because you're like, hey, everything's wonderful, right? And everything is just like a nice big balloon. Everyone's happy. Everyone's having a party, right? You see, so you have no reason to study. So if you have tragedies in your life, if you have afflictions, you're in the right place. There isn't a Dharma practitioner who isn't afflicted. So get that out of your head. You're not going to be perfect. If you're here in this world, you aren't perfect. You were brought here by your negative deeds, but you were also brought here by your good deeds too. So we have a unique capacity to think and realize these things in a very short period of time. But we only have a very short period of time in this life. There's only a certain window you have in this body before it starts to decay. You only have a little bit of time. So eventually all beings can become enlightened. So in the sense that, yes, like cows and goats and ants, they could, but they not in that lifetime, if they are what they appear to be, So in that way, it's working, even just helping them do nice things for other beings can maybe plant some good seeds. So the main thing is if you have the opportunity now, practice now. Because you don't know in 2 months if you're going to be able to. You don't even know if tomorrow you're going to be able to. Right? You don't even know if tonight you're going to be able to. So a question here. The next one is, how to overcome your attachment to the people you love? Make my say way Terchen Chen Rizig G make by Waffle John Dubunala Dumsing Samanda Gajan Kevisu Sokan by Lobs and Drug Price Chabla so one dep. Make my say way Terchen Chen Rizig. Okay. That's understanding where they come from. Okay. You can still love people, but understand that when you see them, how you see them and where that comes from is the way to overcome your attachment to them. And it's really hard, especially if you're a parent. It's very hard. Or to your own parents or people that are really close to you. But when you understand where they come from, then you can actually love them. How about that? Rocio Diaz is asking. She wants to know, why is it sometimes I hear a teacher answer a question in a lower school of Buddhism, but not in the highest school of Buddhism? For example, like, why would a teacher give an answer from, say, Abhidharma versus giving an answer from the Mahayana? It's a good question. Well, you can think of it in a couple ways. The fact that the Buddha taught 4.5 different schools is because there's 4.5 primary ways that our minds operate. So if you think you're a Mahayanist person, you're probably deceiving yourself in some way. I had a friend once who was like, Tim, I don't understand why we have to study mind only. It's like, what? They're like, why are we studying mind only when it's not the highest school? It's like, my answer was, because probably your mind is mind only, you don't realize it. That's why you have to study it. They were like, no, but I believe in the Mahayana, the highest middle way. I'm like, I was like, okay. I was like, why do you think it's the 15th course of the Foundation series? Trane, right? Interpreting what the enlightened beings really said. Why do you think it's course 15? Probably because your mind isn't Mahayana, isn't upper middle way. It's probably lower. And you know what? And the worst thing is, it's probably lower than the Abhidharma. Okay? You're lucky if your mind is Abhidharma. So get this pride out of your head. You're probably not even Abhidharma. Okay? But that's a funny way of saying it. A different way of saying it would be, maybe your teacher is teaching you how to navigate all the different schools so you could be a better teacher for your students. Right? Because when you're looking at students and you're looking at their questions, like literally when I'm looking at these questions, I'm thinking, what's going on in my head? Right? What's going on in my head? What's going on in my head? Like, what level of emptiness is in this question? What understanding of emptiness is in this question? And the whole goal is to elevate the understanding of students' emptiness. So if it's not clear, or you have a Zoom call of 246 people, and if you all would turn on your cameras and I can see all your faces, I might be able to know what your level of emptiness is. But since I can't see many of you, I have to guess. And even if I could see you, I still have to guess because I don't know all of you. All right. How was that for guilt shaming? There we go. But you have to speak to everybody, and you don't know who is there, and you don't know where they're there. Thank you, Idavo. Looks like Idavo was eating dinner. But you want to hit all the people in the room, so you're going to shift your answer through the levels of emptiness. And that's what that's one of the things that we teach in the ancient classics organization. Because how do you navigate the different levels of understanding of emptiness as a teacher? So if you're hearing it, you're hearing it because maybe someone's teaching you how to understand it better so that you can help your students understand it better, so then you can elevate their understanding of emptiness in the future. I like that answer. The other one was partially a joke, but it was also true too. Oh, Kai, that's so nice. I want to be like me too. Kai's question is, what's your secret to practice and live day and night the teachings? Okay. Because I still work and take care of my family. Well, look, we need living examples in all areas of life. Okay. And, a lot of times our lives we go in directions, we've made commitments, we do a whole bunch of different things. And so like you are a practitioner where you are. Like you can turn your job into your practice. You turn your family into your practice. Like you can go and be the secret peacock warrior of your office, right? You can be that person for your office. You can be that person for your family. What's the difference between Tim on Zoom or Kai on Zoom at the office? Yeah, the language might be a little bit different, but no, I think you have to find skillful ways. You have to find skillful ways how to speak to the people around you in normal language. And that's really where a practitioner is. Like, if you want to be a really high practitioner, learn how to speak everybody's language where they are, and then be able to inject the ideas into them. Right? Sure, they can go to the 18 courses, or they can go to the mixed nudge, or they can go to DCI, and they can do all of those things. But that's just one way, not always, all the ways, But if you have a deeper desire to work, if you want to work in organizations that teach these things more consistent, like I work all day long, I have a job, Kai, like my job is this job, right? I have staff, I have meetings, I have blah, blahs, we have fights in the office, we have all these things. It's just under the umbrella of an organization. So if you want to work for one of these organizations, you can plant the seeds for that for sure. But your family and your work is your practice as well. And that's where you are right now. And then, by taking care of them and taking care of them in skillful ways will help you have the deeper realizations. So I'm looking at answers here. Cool. All right. I think that's it for today. I think that's it for today. Thank you for joining. Thanks for being here. Thanks for turning on your cameras, some of you. I will find new ways to guilt shame you next time. I just want to see your beautiful faces. Really, that's all it is. I want to know who's listening. I want to know who's out there practicing. I want to see you. So there you go. Hi, everyone. So thanks for joining. Thanks for asking really deep questions today. And one of the things I like to do in all my classes is as we go, first of all, I need to thank the translators. Before we go, as you leave, turn on your microphone and say goodbye to everybody in your language. So hope to see you all soon. And
大家说再见。
再见，
谢谢老师，
再见，
谢谢大家，
京都见老师，
谢谢老师，谢谢翻译，
谢谢大家，
谢谢今天的交流，
谢谢感谢，
京都见老师，
再见，京都见，京都见，
老师，
感谢老师，谢谢老师，
太感谢了，很受益。
老师，
感谢老师，
日本京都见。
Hello, team. Hello, team. Would you like to answer one more question?
biết ơn thầy Tim, biết ơn chị Ái, biết ơn cả nhà.
谢谢感恩老师，
Võ, biết ơn chị Tính,
Biết ơn chị Ái, biết ơn Tính.
hay quá. Biết ơn anh Tính.
Dear teacher team, biết ơn cả nhà, biết ơn thầy Tim. Answer one more question.
Chào thầy Tuyết và cả nhà.
Ái hôm nay lên level rồi.
超有感觉，是吧？总能站在那么一个瞬间。
I just
感恩翻
wonder
译
how
翻译
could
先
you handle your so
我
busy
的问题
schedule?
是问的，我们身体里面有很多的细胞嘛，这些细
and
胞
worked
它们
as
是否
a
经过可以投
translator.
生，最后可以成佛？我的问题是这个，就是我们身体内部的每一个细胞，它是有独立意识的，它
Okay, everyone, have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Tim, would you like me tell us how could you handle your such busy schedule?
谢谢翻译天使，
Good
我
for
再说
effort.
一遍，
How
我
about
们
that?
身体内部的每一个细胞，
Just be
这
happy.
些细胞它是有意识的，它可以投胎，最终它可以学习佛法，最后它可以
Hi,
成佛嘛。
everyone.
身体内部的每一个细胞，我想这个问题到时候我再问一下，因为这一次好像老师没，谢谢。好，拜拜。
Linh này ở lại với lớp thầy Ghost luôn phải không anh ơi?
Hôm nay chắc thầy đi chơi rồi.
Rồi sao không thấy ta bình thường có luôn?
Thầy đến Sedona là thầy đi gặp mọi người.
Hôm nay thầy ở Sedona.
Tại bình thường
Còn
có
mình
mà.
hãy trả tự do cho thầy. Stop the
Bye.
work today off. À, mọi người đang chờ kìa anh. Thầy tính thông báo đi.
Tính chất vô SCM luôn. Vì ồ, vậy thôi. À, đây.